This is the Casual Nerds Podcast with Eri and Matt.
Hello, welcome to Casual Nerds, a podcast for casual fans. My name is Eri, and with me is
MegaDjMatt.
And today's episode, we have a special guest today. So, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, my name is Britt, and I am apparently special.
You are special.
You are very special.
So this is Britt. She is one of my online friends since 2016. And the reason why we invited Britt to this podcast as today's episode is going to be about cosplay.
Whee!
Woohoo!
So the reason why we did this topic, well, Halloween is approaching and we wanted to do something Halloween related. And out of everything we could think of, the first thing that came to our mind is cosplay because, dressing up and everything. And apparently there's a cosplay community that's emerging in Australia, and I think it's really popular in the US. And I'm pretty sure it's a thing all over the world, or at least in most countries. So we've decided to why not just have a friendly general discussion on our thoughts about cosplay.
Yeah.
Indeed.
So, before we start, I just want to ask, how long have you guys been cosplaying for?
I've been cosplaying since mid-2016, and I've done a cosplay at every convention that I've been able to go to since.
I have been cosplaying since 2008. Yeah, 2008. And I've cosplayed on almost every convention I've been to.
I'm not a cosplayer. I'm more of a cosplay photographer. I've been taking photos since I started working with Smash. And whenever I go to conventions, I don't mind taking photos of other cosplayers because it's fun. Since I'm not that professional in cosplaying and you two pretty much had a lot of experience, why not tell our audience what cosplaying is?
I think cosplaying is kind of bringing a character that you admire or that you love or that maybe you hate sometimes and bringing it to life and kind of showing what the cosplay would look like on you, but also embodying the character. So acting like the character and, having certain mannerisms like your character. For example, if you were cosplaying Sans from Undertale, carrying around like tomato sauce and having a whoopee cushion and things like that.
She basically just explained it all. But cosplaying to me is just, having fun, just being a character that you enjoy. And as for the part that you may not like or character you cosplay as that you don't like, I've never seen anybody do that. But
I've seen a few people do it, and they were just like, I hate them. But then I was like, they fit me so well. Please excuse the barking dogs. But yeah, I've seen a couple of people who are just like, don't really like them in the show, but I thought they would suit me best, and that's why I did it.
That makes sense. One of my most well-known cosplays I've done is Professor Oak from Pokemon.
Oh, that's so cool. I love it. I think my notable ones, my most notable ones would probably be Danny Sexbang from Ninja Sex Party and Black Cat Diva from Overwatch.
That is awesome.
I don't cosplay as much, but when I did, my most notable and probably my only cosplay that I've ever done is Kara from Undertale. And a funny story about that is just that I didn't put much effort on it. All I did was I just got a sweater that I bought off Target, wore the flower crown that I got from Dan and Phil, found some brown shorts, and bought a ninja knife and just said, "Hi, I'm Kara. I want to destroy the world."
Hey, I love low effort cosplay so much. Like half of my cosplay is either, I put a lot of time, effort, and money into that cosplay, and some of my other ones are just like, I pulled this together in 4 hours. I hope it looks okay.
Matt, how long does it take for you to do your cosplay?
For me, I don't know how to make clothes or anything, so I just buy the parts I need. Like Professor Oak, I went to a local Target and I bought the red shirt, I bought the brown pants I needed. The lab coat came from a college. And a lot of my accessories, such as a Pokedex, came from somebody I used to know. My Pokeballs came from many different sources. depending on which one I carry around. It takes a while just to gather up everything, though. As for the gray hair, I usually just, like, spray my hair gray because it's not going to be a permanent thing, so stuff like that.
For me, I think my longest cosplay to do and to, like, get everything together was probably Black Cat Diva. I bought the top and the skirt and the petticoat from a place called Cyber Shop, which is like a local alternative clothing shop in Australia. And then for the gun, it was a prop that my friend already owned, so I just borrowed it from her. Then the ears I already owned from, like, probably, like, one of my, like, childhood costumes. And I just put, like, pink silk to make it more pink. The wig I got from a friend, like, the day before I wore it, which was amazing. She styled it and everything. God bless you. The pearls I got the day before, and the gloves I bought, like, a couple of weeks before. The stockings I bought from Redbubble, and all the external details, like the paneling on the skirt and the bows and everything like that, I made myself.
So, what is the difference between cosplaying and just wearing just a costume? Because when I first heard of the word cosplay, I thought isn't that like the same thing? But I know through based on when I talk to cosplayers, when I take photos of them and what I hear online and so forth, apparently cosplay, it takes more effort. And then just wearing a costume, it's just like, oh, I found this costume in the local shopping center or mall, and I just want to wear it, and I just don't act like the character. I just wear the costume. So what is the difference between the two?
I think it takes a village to pull off a successful cosplay. I mean, that's in my experience. I like the difference with cosplay is that, like, you really more embody the character than just, like, someone going to, like, a Halloween party and just, like, dressing up. Unless you're like me and are going to a Halloween party that's full of other cosplays, in which case you're absolutely terrified, because they are all very professional cosplayers and I'm kind of screwed. But with cosplay, I think it's a lot more than just, you know, going to a party city or something like that, or whatever you have in wherever you're from, and being like, okay, this is a Where's Wally costume. I'm going to put it on, and now I'm Where's Wally, and I'm going to go to this party and probably get very drunk. Whereas cosplay, you make a lot of the elements yourself, and you use the craft skills that you have to kind of put it all together. Like for Diva, I had to put on the paneling myself and gather all the fabric myself, and then had to make all the bows and attach all the pearls and make sure that I was putting everything together right, and even change, like, little tiny details, like the color of the ears on my existing cat ears, or with something like Raven from Teen Titans, where I had to use an existing belt and put styrofoam balls on it, and then take a giant piece of fabric and make it into a cape and a hood. It's a lot more of doing the whole costume yourself, or doing most of the aspects of the costume yourself, rather than just buying it store-bought. However, a lot of people store-buy their cosplays online, but they are usually quite expensive.
Damn, once again, she pretty much nailed it. Basically put it to you like this. A costume is just for, like, maybe a one-time thing, like it's for a party, or maybe you're wearing a costume for whatever reason, maybe just a Halloween thing, or maybe a play, or something like that. But when it comes to cosplay, you're putting, like, if you're making it, you're putting time and effort in it. You're putting together, like, your dress, or some pants, or a shirt, or whatever accessories you need. You need to go out and search for those, because sometimes you just can't find them so easily. You have to go out and search for them, or sometimes, if you're able to, you can make them yourself. Like with mine, there was one time I've actually had a few Pokeballs made, which were the Master Ball, the Great Ball, and I had a regular Pokeball too, and I was supposed to have a few more made, but those never came in. But 3 out of like 5, 6 ain't bad. But that's just the basis of it, really.
So speaking of costumes versus cosplaying, Matt told me, and probably a few others in a group chat that we're in, that he's planning to buy a Robbie Rotten cosplay. Like, he's gonna buy the costume online. Does buying the costume and still acting as the character still counts as cosplaying?
Yes, it does.
How come? Because you told me that buying the costume is pretty much like a one-time thing. Yeah, Matt is gonna embody Robbie Rotten, but yeah, this whole thing is kind of confusing for me in some degree. I mean, I know cosplay is like you build your own, and buying the costume is just buying the costume. But buying the costume and counting it as cosplay, that's allowed?
Yeah, totally. A lot of people store buy their costumes from online retailers who put a lot of the time and effort in, because some people may not have the resources or the money or the time to be able to make those costumes. But if someone online is selling them, a lot of people use Miko costumes, or Costume Box, I think, does a few like nice cosplays. It's a lot easier, but it's for those people who kind of like, who don't think either they have the skills for it or don't think they have the time for it, or a whole bunch of factors can go into it, where they buy the costume but still embody the character. It's not like they're buying like a Mario costume from like Party City. They're buying a professional costume that's made by someone where they're gonna wear it a few times, but they're still embodying the character. They're still being everything about the character. If I were to buy a Raven cosplay online, which I thought about doing, I would still, be Raven and embody her, but I just wouldn't have made the costume. I'm kind of glad that I made the costume, because it was a lot of fun to make and a little stressful. But anyway, it's not cosplay if you're not doing it the night before the con. But it's really about embodying everything that the character stands for. And when you're someone like Raven, you've just got to be like really angsty and goth and kind of like go away, I don't care, which is a great thing because I didn't have to do too much acting.
So I guess the idea of cosplaying is, as long as you're acting as the character on the day of when you're wearing the costume, it's cosplay. Whether you buy it or you make it yourself, as long as you act, that's cosplaying. And just buying the costume is just, hey, I came to a party, I'm dressed up as Mario from the Nintendo game, and I'm just here wearing the costume. That's just wearing the costume.
Yeah.
Correct.
So as you can see, Britt, Matt, and we are like different levels of cosplayers. Britt she puts in lots of hours on creating her cosplay. Matt buys his cosplays online in a store, or sometimes will put the time and effort to make him himself. And there's someone like me who would literally spend $60 in H&M just to buy a blazer just to look like Robbie Rotten.
I saw that.
That was great.
So my question is, do you think there's some sort of discrimination on whatever type of cosplayer you are? Like, do you think that people look down on other cosplayers just because they're not this type of cosplayer? Or maybe their cosplay looks a bit different or something? Because, I don't know, I'm not in the community, but when I go to Smash, or when I went to Supernova, I could tell that there are people who dress up like the same character, but you can tell which one put in the effort and which one bought the clothes in like online and stuff. So I just want to know if there's some sort of discrimination in the cosplaying community in your experience.
Oh, 100%. I do notice that, because I know a lot of like top tier cosplayers around Sydney and things like that, and I see a few people who kind of put down people who look like they're trying hard and maybe don't have the time or the money or the resources to be able to put in more effort, but they put in a lot of shade, really, towards the people who just store buy their costumes. I have a friend who, he gets all of his costumes commissioned, or he makes it himself, and he's really good with props, and his girlfriend does a lot of the sewing and a lot of the crafting of the fabric and the materials and the costume itself. And I see that, especially when I did Black Hat Diva, I was the only person on my day of Supernova who made my costume instead of just buying it, because I saw all the other divas kind of had the exact same store-bought costume, and I could tell exactly which one it was because I probably looked at it about 50 times trying to convince my mum to buy it. But I had a friend say yours was really unique because yours was made by yourself. You could tell that you put the hard work into it. and you added little extra things, like you made the dress a little bit longer and you added a petticoat, which made it a whole lot better. And she said it made me look like a cupcake, which honestly is my life goal. And it made it a little bit more telling to the character because she's all cutesy and really fun and happy. And it made me kind of embody that because I was like, oh, I have a petticoat. This is really fun. And I was jumping around and spinning. And my friend said a lot that it was kind of fun to see me embody the character like that because it really got me to play into her personality.
What about you, Matt? You told me in our first episode of Casual Nerds that you went to anime conventions, and I've seen your photos of you cosplaying as Professor Oak. So do you think there's some sort of discrimination in the cosplaying community in America?
Oh, most definitely. People in America are super hatred if you buy your cosplay instead of making it, because as soon as you mention, like if somebody comes up to you, be like, hey, I really like your cosplay, you know, like let's say you dress up as, let's use her example, Black Cat Diva, and you say you bought it, people be like, oh. You know, they'll just either put you down or just give you like this weird look and they'll walk away just because you bought your cosplay, which I think is really stupid, and just, it's wow. And sometimes people will put you down because of your race, and let's say you're cosplaying as Fiona, and let's just say you're black-skinned. People will sometimes put you down and say something like, well, Fiona's not, Fiona's not black, she's white. And it's just like, dude, you're just trying to cosplay, you're trying to have some fun, and people will try to label you. It's just like, all right, this person's black, so that's Black Fiona. That's how it really shouldn't be. I mean, if you're going to cosplay as Fiona, it doesn't matter what the color of your skin is, you're still Fiona.
Yeah, and I like to say that cosplay comes in all shapes, sizes, and colors, because it does. Like, if you want to cosplay Shuri from Black Panther and you are light-skinned, you should be able to do that, and vice versa. If you want to cosplay Fiona and you're a bit more dark-skinned, you should be able to do that, no matter if the character is plus size and you're not, or you are plus size and they're not, or depending on the skin tone. I've cosplayed some characters who are supposed to be like 6'2", and I'm 5'4", and it does look a little distorted on my figure because I'm quite short. But I like being able to do that. I like being able to like mold the costume to myself. I cosplayed the Doctor. The Doctor's supposed to be a very tall man, and I am definitely not a very tall man, as many people who know me in real life will tell me. But I still like to be able to embody the costume and do it myself and be able to cosplay whoever I want, no matter what I am.
Yeah, I totally get that.
I took photos of you when you were the Doctor, and yeah, you may not look, you're not a tall man, but when I took photos of you, you remind me of Missy, and that's still Doctor Who. And as long as you enjoy cosplaying as Matt Smith's Doctor, it should be alright. Like, I don't see why you should hate on people for cosplaying or buying stuff on the store.
Eri, you say I'm not a tall man, I'm very offended.
You want to be a tall man?
You are a very tall man.
Yes!
Fine, you're a buff man!
Hell yeah. I've always wanted to be an attractive man.
I've always wanted to be an attractive man.
So, cosplay story, since we pretty much had our own taste on cosplaying, you want to share one of your favorite moments when you cosplayed as a character? And since there's three of us, let's only share one story.
Right.
Cosplay stories. Where do we even begin?
Yeah, because if we tell the entire story, this podcast will take like 2 hours, and my computer will die just by editing this whole thing.
That is true.
Yeah. I think one of my favorite cosplay stories, it happened at a con and we were all in cosplay, is I was at Smash, and it was the second day, and I was Rosalina from Mario Tennis Aces. And my friends and I decided to go to the McDonald's that was like across the street from the convention center, and we ordered 240 nuggets. And, you know, like, con days for Macca's workers especially are pretty rough because it was very close to the convention center. A lot of people were walking by, and also it's a place in the city, and a lot of people are already going in there because they're like, McDonald's, something we all know, let's go in. In the underground parking lot later on, actually like quite later. It was like maybe 9 or something at night. Because I was Rosalina from Mario Tennis Aces and I had 40 packets of sauce with me because I wanted all the sauce, my friends decided to, one took all of the sauce in one hand, my other friend had a racket in his hand, and there was just an explosion of sauce, and it's a great video, and it's also in slow motion. You can just see my friend slowly lick sauce off his finger in slow motion.
Was this Smash this year?
Yeah.
I wish I was there to take photos and videos of that. That would have won up what happened last year.
It was incredible and truly a saucy moment.
Matt, what about you? Any cosplay stories?
Oh god, I'm still trying to think of one. Okay, alright, I got one. One time when I was at a anime convention, I was just walking around because my friends that I was with were doing some other stuff, and we just decided, hey, let's just meet up later for when we're hungry, and we'll go to the McDonald's that was just right across the street from where we're at. And I was just walking around, and at this time, I was still doing YouTube videos. Sometimes I was doing them as Professor Oak. And there was one person that just randomly walked up to me. He's just like, hey, I think I know you. I'm like, from where? He's like, are you Professor Oak from YouTube? I'm like, yes? Because in my mind, I'm like, there has to be more than me. And I'm like, can you be more specific? He's like, are you the one banging Ash's mom? And I'm like, why, yes, I am. And then, like, he dragged me over to his friends, like, guys, I told you, this is the guy that's banging Ash's mom. This is the Oak. And I'm like, I am the Oak. All right.
Oh, that's so good.
And so they just got into, like, this large debate. It's just like, oh, how is he banging his mom? And how is this going on? And does Ash know about this? And it was just weird, but at the same time hilarious.
Well, Ash is off busy catching Pokemon. He has no time to check up on his mom.
Pretty much. I mean, in the beginning, sometimes he would call her, but that kind of faded away.
Exactly. Like, Ash doesn't have the time. He's out gonna catch a mole, getting some Zapdos, and some Ditto, I don't know.
And whatever else he can capture, even though Red is the better trainer.
Oh, shade.
But yeah, that's just one of my stories, since we're only allowed to tell one.
One of my favorite cosplay stories, like I said, I don't cosplay as much, but when I did, it was one of my favorites, and probably the only thing that sticks with me is that one time when I makeshift cosplay as Kara from Undertale. I was in the EB Games Expo with the flower crown and the sweater that I bought off Target. It wasn't clearance, by the way, so yay, bought that for like $5. Yeah, buying clothes during clearance, that's the best time to save up and everything, to save money and buy clothes. Anywho, I was done taking photos of that Link sword on a rock. I think it was on a rock, I guess. And while I was about to walk around with my friend, there's this one guy who asked, are you Kara from Undertale? And I'm like, yes. And he was like, oh, can I take a photo with you? And I'm like, and you have to know this, I'm just a makeshift cosplayer. I'm just wearing a jumper, and underneath is just a green t-shirt just in case it gets too hot, with like brown shorts and brown leggings and like shoes and everything. And so I asked this guy, are you sure you want to do that? And it's like, yeah, I don't mind. I really want to take a photo with you. And I'm like, okay, why not? And I think when that happened, it just comes to show as long as you look like the character, you're pretty much okay. Like, people will still want to take photos with you because you put in like effort to be the character and to act like the character and stuff like that. And I just found it sort of beautiful because when I take photos of cosplayers, I usually go after like the people who put in the effort, because that's what I guess people want, like the professional cosplayers. But when someone like that who wants to take photos with someone who just wore something that's simple and made up like a week before, it's just surprising.
Yeah, and I love that. That's always the best thing, being able to, no matter how makeshift your cosplay is, if it's recognizable, someone's going to want to take a picture of it.
So, I just want to ask, why do we cosplay? Like, what is the thing about cosplaying that we just want to try it or we want to pursue it? Like, why do we all want to cosplay? That's the big question. For me, I guess it's because I just don't want to dress up in casual clothing anymore. And if I put in a little bit of effort to dress up as a character, it will make it easier for other cosplayers to allow me to take photos of them, because it's like, hi, I know I like to take photos of you. Is that okay? And I know they'll be they're fine with having their photos taken. But if I dress up, I think it makes it much easier to talk to afterwards. We could create a conversation before and after the shoot, like, oh, what do you dress up as? Oh, and I'll be like, oh, I'm dressing up as this character, and yeah, I kind of made it on the spot. And you're like, it's still cool. You look really cute in that costume, and I'm like, oh, thank you, and I like your costume too. And then it just adds more friendly conversation before and after and during the shoot, I guess. At least that's from my experience.
I think I cosplay a lot because seeing all the other cosplayers, and this is really why I started cosplaying, seeing other cosplayers who are so passionate about the work they do and, you know, get so into it and put all the time and effort and the hours in, it really inspired me to put that much time and that much effort in myself, or as much as I can, with, you know, uni schedules or job schedules or things like that. But my favorite reason is kind of to get the reactions from people. When I cosplay Danny Sexbang, I get the best reactions, and it is hilarious every time, because I get some people being like, I got one very, very drunk woman asking if I was Captain America. And that was hilarious because I felt just fantastic, even though she had no idea who I was and she thought I was Captain America, but I still had fun.
My reason for cosplaying is just basically to have fun. I'm not in it for any competition. I'm not trying to wow anybody. I'm just there to have fun. Plus, I love seeing the different types of cosplays people come up with. Some, especially if they come up with their own original thing, and that's always cool to see. And I just love it. Especially, like, my favorite cosplay to cosplay as will always be Professor Oak. I mean, I've cosplayed as other things, such as Eric Draven from The Crow. If anybody's ever heard of that movie here. But anyway, it's just to have fun. That's just basically my main reason. And
you should have seen my first cosplays. Yikes.
We all started with bad cosplay, so don't worry, Matt. There's nothing to be afraid of. So, who's cosplaying for Halloween?
Me!
I might.
I've got 2 different Halloween parties I'm going to. One that's full of cosplayers, and then one that's Hogwarts party. So I'm just going to be, like, in Gryffindor clothes, because I'm a Gryffindor. Hell yeah. But the first one, the cosplayer one, I have no idea what I'm going to do. I'm probably just going to be like Danny Sexbang and have a friend do some prosthetics makeup on me and just be like undead Danny Sexbang, because why not?
Since this podcast is gonna be out way before Halloween, what you have like any advice to all the fellow wannabe cosplayers who might be listening to this?
Just go. Like, if you're the kind of person who's like, I kind of want to cosplay, but I don't know if I should do it, that's your reason. Do it. It's a whole lot of fun. It may be, you know, it does involve some time, some effort, some stress, and, you know, the casual blood, sweat, and tears. But if you are willing to put the effort into it, put the effort in. You know, have some fun. Do whatever costume you want to do. I always used to say when I was younger, it's like, I want to get a septum piercing. And 2 days ago, I got one. So live your life. Do what you want to do. Have a little bit of fun. But don't overwork yourself.
Just do it!
Listen to Shia LaBeouf and just do it.
Yeah, just like she said, just go out, do it, have fun. Don't care. You should not care what other people think about what you're wearing, because cosplay is literally just for fun. It's all about fun. I mean, if you're going to do it for a competition, that's one thing, because there are cosplay competitions over at many different anime conventions, Comic-Con conventions, all that other stuff. But mainly just have fun with it. Just ignore what any negative stuff that people have to say. And yeah, just go out and do it. Just do it.
And don't be afraid to what or how you're dressing up as. Like, as long as you're having fun and also you could afford the time or the effort or the money to do it, go for it. Like, don't hesitate to not do it. The only thing that's scary is fear itself.
Exactly. You do you, and I'll do me, and we won't do each other, probably. Thank you, Markiplier.
Whoa.
How could we conclude this? Basically, just have fun, and it doesn't matter how the community judges you as long as you're the character. You're the character?
Yeah, cosplay is fun, you know, and it's supposed to be fun. Don't stress too much about what if no one's going to recognize me, and what if I don't feel good in the cosplay? If you feel good about it, and if you think that you look good, do it. Just being able to kind of like run around and have fun with it. And that's really all the fun of cosplay, being able to like have fun with your costume. Also, wear as many capes as you can. Capes are very fun.
Unless you're following Edna, no capes.
No capes! No, I completely disagree with no capes, because capes are very fun. And if capes were fashionably acceptable, I would wear a cape every day.
For anybody that's listening that doesn't get the Edna reference, don't worry. I don't get it either.
What?
Oh my god. Matt, you're literally 10 years older than me. The Incredibles has came out on the same day when you're alive.
Ah, see, I did not know you were referencing The Incredibles.
Yeah, Edna Mode. No capes!
Matt, have you watched The Incredibles?
I've seen the second movie, and I thought that was enjoyable. I remember when I tried watching the first movie, I could not get into it at all.
Matt, you're old.
I'm not a big Disney person.
I mean, fair enough.
I do like Gravity Falls, though.
I haven't seen Gravity Falls.
I haven't seen it either. I love how the podcast always has that one small tangent that's not about the topic.
I mean, you always need one of those. And if you don't, then you're wrong.
Anywho, I think that's the end of our podcast, Britt. It's really, 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 really cool to have you here with us.
Yay! Thank you for having me. I like rambling about my thing that I do sometimes.
Yeah, it was really cool to have you on the podcast. Hopefully we can have you on again.
Yes! I'm more than happy to come on as many times as you'd like me to invite me here.
So, Britt, where do you want people to follow you or find you if they want to see your cosplays and everything?
If you want to find me on Instagram or Facebook, which is where I post most of them, more on Instagram, but it is Britt and Cosplay, so just Britt with double T and ANNE. And if you want to chat to me on Twitter about anything, really, you can. It's just Girls Lester, because I like girls and I like Phil Lester. And
what if they want to see? Do you have a YouTube channel?
I'm working on one, and then it will be Brittany Annette. So yeah, that'll be fun.
And yeah, that's the end of Casual Nerds. I hope you enjoy it. Our podcast is on iTunes and Podbean. We're trying to put it on Google Play, but Google Play is not yet available. Well, at least the podcast submission is not yet available in Australia yet, so sorry about that. My name is Eri, and with me is
DjMatt.
And alongside with us is
Britt!
And that's the end of this episode. See you guys next time.